Hey everyone! Welcome to Make It Sports. This is Coach Sae-Ann Gallegos from the Philippine Netball Federation, and I will be your source speaker for today. We will be discussing a game that is designed for women that was adapted from basketball to suit women's femininity.
A guide to the game of netball. There will be 5 topics that we will be discussing for today. First is the history. Second, the netball necessities. Third, 10 basic rules. Fourth, the essential skills. And last, the local events. For the history of netball, we will be showing you a video on how far it has come both internationally and locally.
A game of speed, strength, agility. Netball, the original women's basketball, is one of the few sports designed for women that build skill, sportsmanship, and camaraderie. Netball is not just shooting any kind of hoops. It is a skillful game of fair contest in which 2 teams of 7 players each strive to keep or gain possession of the ball. Unlike women's basketball, netball is a non-contact sport where players are required to stay within an area depending on one's position. Team unity comes alive as players strategize to pass the ball, move it down court, and score a goal. A major difference with basketball is that players use a longer court in netball, which is divided into 3 parts, and where each section must have a member of each team present. The other notable differences are there's no dribbling or running with the ball, and there's no backboard behind the ring. With many fast passes, this exciting and strategic game develops great hand-eye coordination for all team players. Whatever one's fitness level may be, there is a position for everyone on court.
Netball is the original basketball for women. In fact, it was called women's basketball until the 1970s. Netball was invented 1 year after basketball, in 1891. And it has undergone continuous improvement and modifications to be what it is today.
Records show that the first game of netball was played in England in 1901 on grass, using clothes props for goalposts and paper bags for baskets. Netball's popularity continued to grow during the first half of the 20th century, when the sport was played in many British Commonwealth countries, such as England, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. In 1960, the International Federation of Women's Basketball and Netball was finally established. It was in 1995 that the International Netball Federation was recognized by the International Olympic Committee. The International Netball Federation is working on the inclusion of netball as an Olympic sport. However, this great sport is now being enjoyed in over 70 countries and by more than 20 million people all over the globe. Compared to basketball, netball has different local events: 4x4 indoor netball, 4x4 street netball, 4x4 beach netball, wheelchair netball, para netball, men's netball, and batang netball. Standard netball rules apply for all events except for beach netball, where players may dive on the sand to catch or claim possession of the ball. Whether on court, on asphalt, or on sand, we play netball. The sport of netball reached Philippine shores in 2014 through the efforts of Netball Singapore. In that same year, the Philippine Netball Federation Incorporated which is the governing body of netball in the Philippines, was established. In 2015, the sporting body organized the first women's national team for Netball Philippines. They immediately competed in the international arena at the 28th Southeast Asian Games in Singapore. Since 2016 until recently, various netball clinics were held for private schools all around the country, such as St. Paul University, Quezon City, Miriam College, St. Pedro Poveda College, Brent International School, Laguna, World City Colleges, St. Bridget School, and University of the Philippines, Diliman, Baguio, and Visayas. As an up-and-coming sport in the Philippines, the potential is just limitless. In 2017, the Philippine netball team competed for the Southeast Asian Games in Malaysia. Then, in 2018, the country's netball athletes competed at the Asian Netball Championship in Singapore and won the bowl category at the qualifying tournament for the Netball World Cup. In the same year, the national team won the gold medal at the Jeonju International Netball Championship. In 2019, the Philippine Netball Federation hosted an international netball tournament for the first time at the 30th Southeast Asian Games held in the Philippines. There's no stopping the Philippine team in conquering the international stage for netball. With the Philippines known to be a hoops haven, the future of netball in the country is a story waiting to be told.
Philippine Netball Federation isn't just the National Sports Association or the governing body of netball in the Philippines. PNF was founded on a solid advocacy supporting women in sports and women empowerment.
Footwork, ball handling, attacking, defending, and shooting. Skills required on court and skills that will make a difference in every athlete's future. Competitive yet non-aggressive, the sport of netball will empower young women to develop their potential in the most exciting times of their lives. A game founded on the essential ethical values of excellence, teamwork, heart, integrity, courage, athletes, and leadership. This is netball. It's never too late to bring yourself in the game. Unleash your potential. Promote women in sports. Let's play netball.
For the netball necessities, we will be needing the court, goalpost, the ball, bibs, and our technical officials, which are the umpires.
Let us define the lines and markings that make the court. As you can see on the diagram, the court is rectangular in shape. The two longer sides are called sidelines and measure 30.5 meters or 100 feet. The two shorter sides are called goal lines and measure 15.25 meters or 50 feet. Two lines parallel to the goal lines divide the court into three equal areas. These lines are called transverse lines. The middle area is called the center third, and the two end areas are the goal thirds. A circle 0.9 meters or 3 feet in diameter is located in the center of the court, and this is called the center circle. A goal circle is located at each end of the court. This is a semicircle of radius 4.9 meters or 16 feet, whose center is the midpoint of the outside of the goal line. All lines are 50 millimeters or 2 inches wide and are a part of the court area they outline. There are two goalposts and each is located on the goal line. The only similarity with basketball is the height, which is 10 feet. The noticeable difference is that there is no backboard and the metal ring sits on top of a metal post. This is inserted in the ground beneath the floor, so when it is knocked, there is minimal amount of movement and it remains stable. Covered with padding, extending the full length of the pole, and this is for the safety of the player. The horizontal metal ring is made of steel rod with an internal diameter of 15 inches. The reason why we have a smaller goal ring is because we use a smaller ball. For kids ages 6 to 10, they use a size 4, and for the standard size, it's a size 5, and that is the same as a junior size basketball. Bibs are worn over to identify the 7 positions, and it's often used during training.
Patches have the same purpose as do bibs, indicating the positions. The difference is that this is used during competition, and there is a Velcro that is sewn to easily attach and remove it during the games. It should be above the waist and fronted at the back, and the international size of the letter should be 6 inches in height. So this can be easily seen by the umpires from a distance. There are 3 umpires assigned to officiate. 2 will be in charge of controlling the game. The third umpire stands as a reserve in case of an injury with the umpires on court. As the reserve, their task is to be aware which team is taking the center pass, in case that it's questioned and needs to be identified as well. So umpires are required to wear white, and with this, the team's uniform cannot be primarily white in order to easily identify the umpires on court. And even though this is a women's sport, there's already quite a number of men umpires internationally.
2 umpires control the games, each looking after their half of the court. Their area is at the court surround, goal lines, and sidelines.
Positions. Each player is assigned on attacking and defending duties. For attacking, there is the goal shooter, the GS, and the opposite of it is the goalkeeper on defending, which is the GK. And then follows the goal attack, GA, then the goal defense, the GD. Then we have our wing attack, which is the WA, and the wing defense, a WD. For the center, they are the ones who can play for attacking and defending.
Let us start with the attacking position, the goal shooter. The shaded area is the part of the court where the goal shooter is allowed to move, and this is 1/3 of the area of the court. They should have high accuracy in making goals, a variety of attacking moves, the ability to work in partnership with the other shooter, a strong rebounder, and basic defensive skills. The next position is the goal attack. You see that they are allowed to move in 2/3 of the court. They should be highly accurate in also making goals as well as the goal shooter, quick acceleration with speed and agility, have a variety of attacking moves, be able to work in partnership with the other shooter, and also is a strong rebounder. You should also have the basic defensive skills. The third is the wing attack. The shaded part of the court is the playing area that the wing attack is allowed to move, and that is 2/3. However, they cannot go inside the goal circle. So the wing attack should have excellent ball handling skills with the ability to use a wide variety of passes, the vision and steadiness to deliver the ball safely, variety of attacking moves, able to make quick, accurate decisions and read the play, ability to work well in small areas and get onto the circle edge. They should also have quick acceleration, speed, and agility with basic defensive skills. Now going to the defender's position. We start with the wing defense. And if you see, they also have a 2/3 coverage of the court. However, they're also not allowed to go inside the goal circle. So for the wing defense, of course, they should have strong defensive skills with the ability to work in partnership with the center and also with the goal defense and the goalkeeper. They have to be quick in acceleration. They have speed, agility, elevation, and reactions. Good attacking skills including space awareness and ball delivery. The next defender is the goal defense, and they cover 2/3 of the area. They should be able to match the speed and agility of the goal attack. They have the patience and persistence in defense with the ability to work in partnership and communicate well with the goalkeeper. They have strong body control and a variety of defense of shot and an excellent rebounder. Now we go to the last line of defense, which is the goalkeeper, and they cover only 1/3 of the court. For the goalkeeper, they should have good footwork as these players does the majority of their work in a confined space. They have a natural sense of aggression and should be possessive about protecting the circle. They have good defensive skills with the ability to work with the goal defense, the ability to read plays, anticipate, and take intercepts. Of course, they should also have the variety of defensive shot and an excellent rebounding skills as well. For the last position, and that will be the center, they have the most coverage in terms of playing area, and the only area they're not allowed to go to is the goal circle. Endurance and speed is a must, because since they are the link between the attack and defense, they should be able to control the pace of the game, and also change quickly from defense to attack and vice versa. They should have a variety of ball delivery and movement, and has good decision-making skills. Strong defensive skills is also needed with the ability to work in partnership with the wing defense. Let us now review the specific areas where positions are allowed to move. In this, we have to identify the thirds into shooting, center, and defensive. There are 5 areas starting in Area 1, that is the shooting third, for the goal shooter and goal attack. For Area 2, it's goal shooter, goal attack, along with the center and wing attack. For Area 3, this is the center third, the goal attack along with the center and the wing attack. And it will be for the goal defense and wing defense for defenders. Area 4 is the defensive third, the center and wing defense along with the goal defense and goalkeeper. The last one is Area 5, and only the goal defense and goalkeeper is allowed here. Knowing the 10 basic rules of netball will give you an overview on how the game is played. So we shall start with the length of the game, and then go to the starting of the game or the center pass and scoring of a goal. The third one would be team changes and substitution. Next is footwork, the 3 feet rule, obstruction and contact, held ball, offside, and lastly, over a third. So let's start with the length of the game. Netball is 60 minutes of running time divided into 15-minute quarters. There is a 4-minute break between the quarters and 8 minutes between the half. And in case of a tie at the end of regulation, 2 halves of 7 minutes each to determine the winner. And if it's still a tie at the end of the extra time, the game goes on and the team that leads by 2 goals is declared the winner. In starting a game or a center pass, the game commences when the center player steps her foot wholly inside the center circle, and after the umpire's whistle, a center pass can be taken. Now, after each goal is scored, a new center pass is taken. This is alternately by 2 center players, regardless of which team scores the goal. The diagram indicates the position of the players before the start of a center pass. Only the center position can be inside the center third. The other 4 positions, namely the wing attack, goal attack, the wing defense, and goal defense, shall stand behind the transverse line. In netball, a goal is scored when a goal shooter, which is the GS, or a goal attack, which is the GA, within that goal circle, throws the ball over and completely through the goal ring, and a successful goal is equivalent to 1 point. And in this video, we will be showing you a goal that is scored coming from a center pass.
They are behind 1 goal. Lisa again, the center, she's been fantastic.
changes and substitution, the team may make any number of substitutions at the quarter, half, or three-quarter time break, and as well during a stoppage due to injury or illness. If a substitution or a team change is made due to injury or illness, the injured or ill player must be involved in the substitution or positional change. The opposing team is free to make substitutions or positional changes even if the team which called for time make no changes. In this video, the game has already started and one of the players was injured and she had to inform the umpire that she needs to be substituted.
Was an undercooked shot there by City. Alexandra just seems to be a little bit tender on her ankle, chose to...
In footwork, there's a 1-foot landing, and this is when a player lands on 1 foot and this serves as their pivot foot. They may step with the other foot, lift the pivot foot, but must throw or pass before regrounding it. A player cannot drag or slide the landing foot or hop on either foot. For the 2 feet landing, if a player catches the ball and lands on both feet simultaneously, they have an option to choose their pivot foot, and then the 1 foot landing rule follows after that. The 3 feet rule is one of the rules that define netball. So soon as a player receives the ball, the opponent or the defender immediately steps back at a distance of 3 feet. The distance is marked from the landed or the pivot foot of the player with the ball, and the 3 feet applies around the player.
An event to remember for the Filipinos if they do succeed. Brunei, they won the bronze medal in 2017.
When the 3 feet rule is not applied, one of the 2 major infringements will be called, and that is obstruction. As a player with arms extended cannot defend a player with a ball closer than 3 feet. This distance is measured from the first landed foot of the attacking player to the nearer foot of the defending player. In this video, the goal defense was not quick to give the 3 feet to the goal shooter, and she was called for obstruction. The second major infringement is contact. A player cannot accidentally or deliberately come into contact with another player in a way which impeded their play. And one of the samples would be pushing, charging, tripping, throwing body against opponent, or even using the ball to push or contact the opponent. We will be showing you a video of contact outside the goal circle. So these 2 players were trying to take possession of a loose ball. The player in black was successful, and the one in red was called for contact. In this video, the goalkeeper in black bumped the goal shooter while leading out for a pass. Since it happened in the goal circle, the goal shooter can make a penalty pass or a penalty shot. In the diagram, the shaded area is the designated playing area of each position. If they go to the white areas, they will be called for offside. In this video, the center player was going to the right side pocket to receive a pass. However, her foot landed inside the goal circle, thus committing offside. For the 10th and last basic rule of netball, it's over a third. The ball cannot be thrown over a complete third without being touched or caught by a player in that third. This is an over a third video. The black team from their defensive goal third threw the ball, but the receiver was still on their shooting third when she caught the ball. And with that, the ball went over a full third, and that is the center third, without being touched by another player. Now we move on to the next topic, essential skills. There are 5 skill sets that we teach our players. That is footwork and movement, ball handling, attacking, defending, And lastly, shooting. The first skill that we will be teaching is footwork and movement, and that would be for the 1 foot and 2 feet landing and pivoting. In doing the 1 foot landing, one should control the hip and knee when landing. Do not allow the hip and knee to swing inward or outward on the landing. Keep the knee and toe direction the same. Ensure a soft and slightly bent knee on landing. If you lead on the right, land on your right foot. If you lead on the left, you land on the left foot. For the 2 feet landing, if a player catches the ball and lands on both feet simultaneously, they have an option to choose their pivot foot, and then the 1 foot landing roll follows after that. Pivoting must always be on the landing foot. Bring weight over the grounded foot, bend knees slightly, and turn on ball off the pivot foot, pushing off with the other foot to provide direction and balance. The second essential skill is ball handling. Players need to develop the basic skills of each of the throwing techniques. This is for the chest, shoulder, lob, and bounce pass. In doing a chest pass, the player should pass with 2 hands from the chest. This is used for quick, short, and accurate passes. The player should stand front on with the ball in 2 hands at chest height and elbows tucked down. Spread fingers around the ball with thumbs behind. Step forward with weight transferred onto front foot as you push the ball with wrist and fingers. And the ball comes out evenly from both hands. The shoulder pass is a one-hand pass used for speed and accuracy over long distance. This pass should be directed in front of the receiver. To execute this pass, opposite foot of the throwing arm, feet shoulder width apart with weight on back of the foot at the start of the throw. Ball held with 2 hands initially, then in 1 hand with arm back behind the shoulder. Arms extended with elbow slightly bent and shoulders turned. Transfer the weight forward as throwing arm comes through. Follow through throwing arm till almost extended fingers and wrist extend in the direction of the pass. Remember to rotate the hips and shoulders towards the target and direct the pass to the space in the head of the receiver. The lob is a high pass used to lift the ball in a high looping arc over the arms of the defending player. To execute this, the player should stand with feet shoulder width apart, begin with the ball at shoulder height with elbow bent, step forward, transfer the weight onto the front foot. The throwing hand extends up and slightly forward with the ball release at full extension. The wrist and fingers direct the ball into a high arc. The bounce pass is used when the thrower is closely defended or when a play is crowded, generally over short distances. To execute this pass, the player should step forward and bend or lunge on opposite leg. Push the ball forward and downwards. Release the ball between the hip and knee. The ball should approximately be 2/3 of the distance to the receiver, and that will reach the intended player about knee height. In teaching attacking skills, the components that are involved would be the initial stance, footwork, vision, ball handling, timing, leading, and space awareness. With these components, the player can execute leads, dodges, and changes of direction. In doing leads, the player should sprint strongly to the ball, either directly forward or diagonally at a 45-degree to the free side. Emphasis should be on the first 3 or 4 steps with shoulders in the direction of the lead. Use strong arms to accelerate and maintain the lead onto the ball. All movements when dodging should be quick and decisive. Good balance, footwork, and quick decision making help to execute this skill. So when a player executes a dodge, their eyes should be on the thrower. Body upright, feet shoulder width apart, slightly bent knees and hips. Move a few steps away from the intended catching position. Place outside foot strongly on ground and push off in the desired direction, turning hips to face towards the direction of travel. Use arms to accelerate and extend to receive the ball. Being able to change direction quickly will assist the player to create space for themselves or teammates. The initial move must be convincing enough to elicit a response from the defender. And this is where we teach the change of direction. Player should sprint strongly to the ball, either directly forward or diagonally at a 45-degree angle. Shoulders should be in direction of movement. Emphasis should be on the strong first 3 to 4 steps. Push off strongly on outside foot and use the inside foot as takeoff foot to move into a new space. And emphasis again on those strong first steps when moving to the new space. And as we go to the defending skills, there are basic underlying skills that are involved, which is the starting position, vision, body control or balance, and footwork of the athlete. And with these underlying skills, we can teach them how to do shadow movement, hands over ball, rebounding, and how to intercept a pass. For one-on-one defense, we call this shadow defense, and the aim is to dictate the opponent's play to force the attacker to a poor position to turn over the ball. So the defender should stand in front of the opponent with the back to the attacker and the body halfway across the opponent's body. Arms close to the sides of the body, feet shoulder width apart, knees bent, and weight slightly forward over toes and back upright. The vision is to see the attacker and the ball, and the shadow moves using fast, small steps. When doing a hands-over ball, players should attempt to defend every pass. This places pressure on the thrower and increases the chances of an error or interception occurring. So the defender should stand 3 feet in front of the person throwing. Feet shoulder width apart, knees, hips, and ankles are slightly bent. The entire foot should be on the ground. Position the arms over the ball and follow the movement of the ball. In intercepting a pass, one should take possession of the ball during an attempted pass by the attacking team. So the defender should be reading cues provided by the thrower to anticipate the direction of the pass. You have to drive for an intercept at an angle, focus on the ball, and run through to take the ball. The last skill is shooting, and this is a skill where muscle memory and technique comes in. Even though it's just one skill, there are a lot of steps to remember to make it into one fluid motion. Ball is held above the head. Arms are extended with the shooting arm reasonably straight and close to the ear. Ball rests on the base of the spread fingers and the thumb. The opposite hand is placed on the side of the ball to steady it. Stand upright with the feet about shoulder width apart, feet, hips, and elbows pointing towards the goalpost. Bend the elbows and knees. There are 3 main areas a shooter can aim for, but they must be consistent with the method chosen. It's either in the front of the ring, the middle of the ring, or the back. Straighten elbows and knees. Release the ball just before elbows and knees are straight. Flick the ball with the wrist. Follow through, arms towards post. Straighten fingers, pointing them towards the post, and the ball should travel in an arc. Space should not be a hindrance in learning netball. We were made aware that this has been a main concern of the schools when they wanted to take up the sport and teach it to their students. And with this, the Federation came up with variations of local events. And this would be for the 4x4, indoor, beach, and street netball. And having these options, the athletes can still learn the basic skills, and the transition to the sevens will be easier since they are already equipped with the skills. So we made a table to compare the equipment that is used for the standard netball game and also for the local events that we have. So if you see, for the beach and the indoor netball, it has the same dimension, however the difference is the surface, and there's also a slight variation in the rules. For the street netball, you would use the dimensions of a tennis court. All these three local events use only one goal post, and there are 4 players playing inside the court. Now for the other local events, we are also looking into having the para netball and also the wheelchair netball. But of course, we also want to concentrate on the batang netball. This would be for the 6 to 10 years old. And now we are aiming to have it in the grassroots program. And that is one of the projects that the Federation is working on. In the past years, we have concentrated on developing the national team in the Opens division, only to realize that we need to have a solid foundation at the grassroots level. And by this, our NSA is tapping into schools and providing materials, courses, and equipment needed to teach the kids. And this is for our Batang Netball program that caters ages 6 to 10 years old. When we show the video on the history of netball, the Federation has been doing schools tour to spread netball awareness, and this was through the private schools. As a part of the Federation's initiative, retired national athletes are encouraged to take on coaching and umpiring courses, in continuity in being a part of the growth of netball in our country. The Federation also offers free courses on bench officiating, and this is our technical officials who's in charge of statistics during competition. In partnership with the Department of Education and the local government units, the Philippine Netball Federation has been providing free online certificate courses on the introduction to netball.
And that concludes our session for today. Netball, a game designed for women. We hope we were able to impart much knowledge, take up interest in learning about our sport. And we would love to hear from you, and you can send us a message through our social media accounts. That's on Facebook and Instagram at Philippine Netball. And you can also send us an email through netballphilippines@gmail.com. On behalf of the Philippine Netball Federation and the Philippine Sports Commission, we'd like to thank you for attending today's session. Stay safe and be well all.